Could we do a show like this? Could I interview you like this? Could Rehan come be on a panel like this in Beijing, in, say, the Beijing International Convention Center? Could we do a show like this? Audience members freely ask questions. You take questions from everyone. No one's vetted. No one's threatened. Could we do this in Beijing? A show where every audience member gets to speak freely. No one turns up at their house afterwards.
For many European countries, you do not need a visa to go to China. Pick up your luggage
No, I'm
and
not
buy
asking,
a ticket.
I'm not asking foreigners.
Beijing.
Victor, I'm not asking foreigners to come. I'm saying, could a Chinese audience turn up and ask whatever they want, criticize Xi Jinping, criticize the government, ask you questions, talk about Uyghurs? Could you do it in Beijing?
This is Victor Gao, a certified CCP apologist, or should I say, scholar in disguise. He first gained attention in this interview clip.
Big debate in Britain about what language we use about China. Are you a competitor? Are you an ally? Are you a threat? How would you regard your relationship with Britain?
First of all, between China and Britain, from the Chinese perspective, Britain is not a rival, is not a competitor, it is not an enemy, is not an adversary. Britain is just an important country to get along with in peace and in friendship and for mutual benefit. Now, how Britain looks at China, it's up to the British government and people to decide. But I think it will be completely misguided for Britain to view China as an enemy or adversary or a competitor. What do China and Britain compete with? China is the largest manufacturer of automobiles. Competing with Britain? No. China is the largest exporter of EV cars and will lead the whole world in EV.
He's also the former translator of Deng Xiaoping, now serving as a vice president of a Chinese Communist Party think tank. So he's a professional in arguing with people, basically spewing propaganda points when he goes on international television. And to the uneducated, that seems, now I say uneducated here, not to belittle anybody, but it's very hard to get experience dealing with CCP propagandists. So sometimes he seems like he's a real threat. But don't worry, Britain, we got them this time. Medhi Hasan, who hosted a town hall with Victor on Al Jazeera, honestly, whatever you think of Medhi and his other political stances, this was gold. I highly recommend you watch the entire interview from start to finish because he's well-researched and he actually got to break through some of these propaganda points. I'll put the link in the full interview down in the description. A brave woman from Hong Kong, Chong Qingquang, asked exactly the question that got Victor sweating. Watch.
My question is, as a dissident from Hong Kong, knowing that I cannot express freely in Hong Kong or in the UK without risking other people in trouble, I also know that you just now made claims about there's free speech in China, and it's possible to criticize the Chinese government just now again. Can you please demonstrate that free speech and tell us what are Xi Jinping's two worst mistakes in the past 5 years?
Great question.
If you can demonstrate to us that it's okay to criticize Xi Jinping, the Chinese government, and China, or even just say Xi Jinping kind of resembles Winnie the Pooh, would be good enough for me. Thank you.
Victor, do you want to take that question?
Well, thank you. I would say China need to make more take more prompt actions in dealing with the dramatic aging population in China and the dramatic demographic decline.
Do you think Xi Jinping's to blame for not being fast enough on aging?
No, I think the whole Chinese government, including the Central Committee, State Council, local government, need to take actions quickly to reverse that dramatic aging population problem and demographic decline.
We're not going to get a criticism out of you. Let's go back to the audience.
Okay, and this is probably the best part, which is about if Xi Jinping is a dictator.
Here you have Rishi Sunak, the former prime minister, was called a pint-sized loser by a Labour politician. No one in China has that kind of freedom to talk about their government, to talk about President Xi Jinping in that way. You can't say anything like that. You wouldn't dare say anything like that because you know what will happen to you when you go home. You know what will happen to your family. That's what China is.
Medhi, if you do anything, write anything, email or chat to your friends about taking anything action against, let's say, Prime Minister of Britain, President of the United States,
I didn't say that.
You'll be dealt with
That's
very
not what I said.
swiftly.
Victor, you're a master of straw man. That's not what I said. I said Rishi Sunak was called a pint-sized loser. Would you call Xi Jinping a pint-sized loser?
Medhi, each country has different sensitivities. In UK...
So you're admitting you can't criticize the Chinese government?
No. You can criticize the government if you are positive in your attitude.
You can criticize the government if you're positive.
Yes.
Is that the new philosophy?
No, if you can come up with your
You got to come up with nice insults.
No.
What then?
Constructive advice.
Constructive advice.
For example,
Oh, I'm loving
in
this.
dealing with the aging population, what should be the government do? What should this governor should do?
But you can't say the president's lied. He's a liar.
It will be dealt with very swiftly in China. You cannot say that.
That is the most honest thing you've said tonight.
That's the honest truth. Anything you say about the leadership, you will be dealt with swiftly.
Every leader in China will be put into a team, and teamwork will be much more important
Xi Jinping
than
run
individualism.
teams, Victor. Maybe previous presidents did. Maybe Jiang Zemin or Hu Jintao. Everyone knows Xi Jinping has centralized power, consolidated power.
Okay, so here's the big confusion you might have. So yes, Chinese leadership is put into these so-called work groups or small task forces. But every single one of those key task forces, guess who it's being headed by? Xi Jinping. Okay, he's literally the head of every little task force or working groups ever and also they were created by himself. There's the financial task force, there's the labor task force, there's the military sort of committee. And guess what? He's the chair of every single one of these little things. Yeah, sure, I can come up with 1,000 different ways of describing dictatorship, as long as apparently it means that I'm not like living like a monarch.
There's no division or debate within the Chinese Communist Party.
Listen to me. No single person in China can dictate to a population of 1.4 billion people and 100 million membership of the Communist Party of China.
Okay, let's test that.
That's a mission impossible.
Let's test that proposition. The president won a vote last year. Won a vote. I'll put that in air quotes. Do you know the tally of last year's presidential vote in favor of Xi Jinping by the National People's Congress? Part of that structure you just advertised to us. What was the vote? Can you tell our audience here?
I think it's up to about 100%.
Okay.
2,952 to 0.
Yes, that's exactly what I said.
Could you not find a few people just to make it look a little even? One or two?
Medhi, it's
Five?
not surprising. It's not surprising.
2,952 to 0.
It's
That's
not
one-man rule,
surprising
my
in
friend.
the Chinese system. Everyone supports the
Yes.
Chinese president.
Because everybody that doesn't support it ends up disappearing.
That's
You just told us 10 seconds ago there's this huge system, a big party, one guy, and then you're like, oh no, but everyone supports him. 0 votes against him. One person out of 3,000 couldn't say, Xi Jinping, not my guy. One.
What if he is the guy for all the Communist Party of China? You
What
never
if?
know.
Well,
never know.
if that's the case, then your entire first answer is redundant because it doesn't matter if there's 100 million people. They all have to follow the leader.
No, he does command huge respect among the Chinese people as well as
You
in
say
the ruling
respect, I
party.
say fear. Do you know how many names were on the ballot papers that were given in 2013? How many names were on the ballot paper when they went to choose the president? Can you tell our audience?
I think there is only one candidate.
There were no other names. That's a real secure leader. A guy who knows he has the confidence of his people. You get to vote, but only for me, and none of you can actually vote against.
The situation with 6 prime ministers in 80
Ooh,
years.
Yeah.
a British
So you prefer
bird.
a dictatorship?
No, we prefer a system that works for the benefit of the Chinese people.
I've not said a word about what works or not. You got great economic growth.
Look at the
But you're a
economic
dictatorship.
There is no dictatorship, Medhi.
You just
you
admitted
want me to,
that there's no
Like,
name on the
just
ballot
admit
paper,
to it,
no
honestly.
votes against him,
You
and they
are a
all just
dictatorship.
follow him.
You're a totalitarian
That's a
system.
dictatorship.
When the king succeeds the queen,
Yes.
how many candidates are there on the ballot paper?
How many?
Does that make Britain not a democracy?
Well, you're asking the wrong guy. I'm a Republican, so I think we should be a full democracy and get rid of the monarchy. And I can say that here. You can't say that in
You
China.
cannot take any action against that.
Yes, I can, actually. I can go out on the street, I can hold up a placard and say, let's get rid of King Charles.
Yep, you
I can
can't.
create a whole protest outside Buckingham Palace. You can't do that in China. You can't even put one other person's name on a ballot paper. That's how insecure your leader is.
Medhi,
Also, another point, which is, this is a good tip if you're trying to argue with any of these propagandists online, is to offer them a way to level the playing field, right? You, as an American or as a British or any, European country citizen, can go to your state capital, your, capital of the country, go in front of, say, the Buckingham Palace, the White House, or, wherever the person in charge is at. Go to that place. And you can film yourself or you can just scream out, you can hold up a banner, whatever you do, right? You can say, I don't like this president, I don't like this prime minister, he is blah, 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 blah. You can say all sorts of things about them, and you're not going to go get in trouble, you're not going to end up in jail. But try doing the same thing in front of Tiananmen Square in Beijing or in front of Zhongnanhai, which is where the CCP compound is, and see what happens to you. So if those people that you're arguing with can't do the very thing that you can, it's not on the same playing field. And their so-called arguments about democracies in China or free speech in China does not stand if they can't even exercise a simple fact of criticizing their leadership. And you can really, like this is such an easy way to just end the entire argument on US versus China or anything else. It's so funny that they think somehow just by pretending like they can say the word democracy or the word about freedom, it means they truly have it, when in reality, all they're doing is twisting and bending the definition of these terms to suit their so-called political agenda, which at the end of the day is to keep the party in power. Now, before I continue, I just want to show you some of the merchandise that I finally get to wear. They've finally shipped and arrived. This is the Awesome My Country shirt, and it has the Chinese translation or the Chinese characters for Awesome My Country on it. It's very well designed. You can see it. This is an extra large, and it's a little big on me. And I, of course, have this awesome tofu drag specialist hat here. I look like I'm a farmer when I wear this. Like one of those guys that go to tailgate parties in their 30s and 40s. I don't know if that's offensive. But yeah, definitely a great color. I like this. Maybe it's just my hair. But kind of get the Glenn from The Walking Dead vibe in this. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think here. Of course, we also have the very classic China Insider black tea. Okay, it's very basic. And if you're looking for something like that, this is great for those. And of course, we have this one, which is going to be a limited edition for 1 month, which is this CIA paid for this t-shirt. Has my little digital scan of my face on there. If you're interested in owning a piece of my face or my upper body, feel free to come and grab one of these shirts. These shirts are really well made. They're not made in China, by the way. They are from Honduras, 100% cotton shirts. They're very comfortable, actually. I hate any sort of the synthetic materials because even though they're kind of slippery and soft, they're very harsh on my skin. I have really sensitive skin. 100% cotton, doesn't smell bad. And these ship globally, by the way. So anywhere you go, you place the order. They have factories all over the US, Canada, I believe Australia, EU, the UK as well. So yeah, check them out. All the other styles are also available on davidzhang.net. So make sure to check it out. Some of these are limited edition. They will be gone forever after the sales period. And also we have 3 tiers of membership if you want to support the channel. So check everything out at davidzhang.net. All right, let's continue. And that's why I called this video a masterclass on countering the CCP propaganda. By using their own arguments and facts against them, that's precisely the most powerful, most accurate, and most successful way to deal with Chinese Communist Party propaganda. But apparently to Victor, who is of course drowned in his own sort of delusions, this was a masterclass on how to deceive himself and others, and pretending like he's the right side. There are also some other great moments here.
Let me give you an example.
That's the Chinese way of doing it.
Former Foreign Minister Qin Gang was removed from his post and has not been seen in public since June 2023. A few months later, China's Defense Minister, General Li Shangfu, disappeared from public view for months, has now been expelled from the party, accused of corruption. That's at least 2 ministers that disappeared just in the last year.
This means China is really merciless in dealing with corruption of all kinds, even among the highest
Your foreign
ranks.
minister and defense minister. Imagine Antony Blinken and Lloyd Austin just disappeared tomorrow. We don't know where they are. We've never seen them again. That's not normal, Victor.
Listen, corruption is rampant in
How do we
China.
know they're corrupt? They just disappeared. Where's the trial?
Yeah, that's so good. Where's the trial? How did they just disappear? That's anything, like, remember this whole fiasco with Lloyd Austin gone missing because he had a health problem? And that's such a big thing because that's literally the defense minister, right? And then if imagine Tony Blinken also did the same thing. Every single media in the US and internationally would be reporting on this. Everyone would think that's weird, except apparently not in the eyes of Victor.
Where's the trial,
To finish my point. Corruption of all kinds in China need to be dealt with.
So where's the trial?
Mercilessness.
So where's the trial? Where's the trial of the former foreign minister? We don't even know where he is.
Medhi, those things you don't know doesn't mean doesn't happen.
Where is the trial for this man you're just accusing of corruption?
Qin Gang was my good friend for more than 20 years.
Where is he then?
He is involved
So Medhi asked him, where's the trial for this foreign minister? And his answer is, Qinggang is my best friend for 20 years.
Regardless
Where
of the
is the former
seniority
foreign minister
of his
of China?
position.
This is not a hard question. We're not asking where Rehan's brother in the middle of Xinjiang is that you can dodge. Where is the former foreign minister of China?
Where is he?
Who disappeared? And by
Like,
the way,
we've been
he wasn't
talking about
accused of
this. Where the
corruption.
heck was
spokesman
Qinggang?
came out and
Is
said
he
has
dead
health
or
reasons.
alive?
Then corruption came later, by the way. Where did he go, your friend?
That means there is a process, and the process.
The process
is
starts
not
with
ju-
one lie that he's ill, and then the next lie is he's corrupt.
He may be ill. You never know.
I mean, he's probably ill after he's been in a Chinese
He
prison.
may be ill now.
Yeah,
You never know. But,
exactly.
But at least
Where is he?
Qinggang lost his job
Victor, where is
because
he?
of his corruption.
Last question.
That's
Where-
the point.
Where is he?
Typical way to defeat somebody. It's like, okay, so you say there's transparency in the system, you say that there is supposedly a sort of, rule of law inside China, and then you can't even say he knows exactly where Qinggang is, what happened to him, but he just can't say it to Medhi or anybody in the audience because he knows if he does say it, the next thing that would happen to him is exactly what happened to his best friend of 20 years.
Careful what you wish for, because everyone's watching this show, and if you get something wrong tonight, maybe you disappear.
If I disappear, I hope you will bail me out.
This is so funny. Oh my
I'd
God.
have to find you first, and China's apparently a big country.
So this one is from @TimsLow. Says, I'm sorry, I agree with Victor. Everyone has free speech in China, but he didn't say how many times. The fact is, everyone is allowed to have free speech in China, but you can only do it once. Her smile at the end proved it all. Bro knows when she won.
Including the Central Committee, State
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the best part about this entire exchange, this entire interview, is the fact that everybody could see. He didn't even try to skirt around the question. He straight up turned 180 degrees and ran away from it. The woman, so can you demonstrate that there is free speech in China? The man, anyways, I started yapping. That's pretty funny. Good one, good one. They think free speech means you're allowed to speak, just not the truth. China has like 11 forms of democracy or something, or so they claim. There's like people's democracy, whole process democracy, something to do with choice democracy. Anyways, there's like 11 of these, right? But when you actually read through all of the meanings or the definition of these terms, none of them make sense. And it's like none of them are actually democratic processes or democracy at all. And this is the segment where he talks, and this is where the Xinjiang concentration camp lie gets exposed. There's actually multiple parts in the video, so I'll try to piece them together, the best parts.
How do you feel about the fact that at least 500,000, some say more, of your brothers and sisters are being detained in camps by the Chinese government? That's 5% of the adult Uyghur population, one of the highest imprisonment detention rates in the world.
Medhi, the Uyghurs are a proud ethnic group, one of the 56 ethnic nationalities in China. The Uyghurs, as far as I'm concerned, are my true brothers and sisters.
Okay, Victor, thanks for the fact. That doesn't answer the question.
I know many of them. I travel to Xinjiang regularly, and I talk to many of the Uyghurs. Now,
Yeah, I have a lot of black friends too. This is exactly like that.
give me the evidence. I
Just
think
did. Human Rights Watch say 500,000 people detained over the years in recent
you
years.
keep quote Human Rights Watch, and I tell you.
Do you know where they got those numbers from?
I don't know.
Can I tell
don't
you?
know. I don't know.
I thought you were the expert on this.
I
You've
do
been to
not know.
Xinjiang, you've spoken to Uyghurs. You never heard these numbers?
I do not know where did they get the source.
So
of
their
the
source is the
quotation.
Xinjiang High People's Procuratorate, which has published its own statistics, Xinjiang official body, which says it's convicted 540,826 people prosecuted in the region since 2017. The United Nations Office
My
for
God,
Human Rights
Medhi just
looked at
destroyed him
satellite
on
footage.
this.
They say 10 to 20% of the population. Amnesty estimates 1 million people in camps. 500,000 is a conservative number.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
Medhi, if you quote that organization, please be assured that that organization has been completely discredited for the false information they came up with.
I love this game we're playing. You give me a source, I give you a source. They're discredited. They've said falsehoods.
Medhi,
How can we?
one
Let
thing-
me ask you a question. How many people are in detention in Xinjiang? You give me a number.
Listen, if you look
I'm
at
listening.
Xinjiang,
You give me a number.
If you look at, I do not have the number.
Why not? No.
I go to Xinjiang a lot. I traveled.
Why does this guy keep saying he's been to Xinjiang a lot? Okay, I had a lot of black friends growing up, so I can say the N-word? No, that's not how it works.
So they're your brothers and
throughout
sisters.
Xinjiang.
You go there a lot, but you
Yes.
can't tell me how many people are in detention.
Listen, They are happier. They enjoy their life. They enjoy their Muslim practices and traditions. Listen,
How many people are in detention, Victor?
Mehdi, let me be philosophical.
No, don't be philosophical. It's numerical.
philosophical.
How many people are in detention? You said no to 500,000. How about, okay, let's let 250,000.
Let me finish my point.
Nope. You say they're all happy, but you won't let in independent investigators. You won't let in journalists to go there.
Why not?
They're not allowed to
will
go
be,
there.
I will be happy to escort you to Xinjiang.
Really?
I can make that promise.
Really?
I will speak to the Chinese government.
Here's the problem,
to the
Victor.
Chinese
I don't
embassy.
want to escort. I don't want minders. I want to go freely. Will you allow that?
I do not make that decision.
Oh, a moment ago you were going to make all sorts of interruptions. Suddenly I said, let me go freely and speak to Uyghurs freely. Can I do that with no minders?
I'll be
No
happy.
Chinese government escort.
I will be happy to make your case.
Oh, just now you said you'd organize it. Now we're back. Make a case.
Make
you
your
can't
case.
guarantee.
I don't decide myself. Oh, that is so good. Okay, they always love to do this. They're like, we'll escort you to go on a tour to see Xinjiang, the beautiful Xinjiang. And then you go there, there's nothing. You know, there's no concentration camps. It's just some beautiful, smiling, happy people, local people, serving up you lamb dishes and giving you fresh fruits picked from the orchards and the fruit valleys. Okay, that's what you're going to see. Just like how organ harvesting and the Wuhan investigations, WHO sent people in. They're like, okay, we're going to give you this entire process where we get to play the Potemkin Village game with you, and you'll see nothing that you want to see, and you're going to go write a report on it saying how happy you are that you went to China, received hospitality, ate Chinese food, and finally saw nothing. So Medhi did a great job saying that he doesn't want to be escorted. He wants to go freely by himself on his own sort of schedule and see what he wants to see. Obviously, he's not going to let them do that because that's exactly what they won't let you do. All right, thanks for watching this episode, and definitely check out my merchandise at davidzhang.net. And if you enjoyed the content, let me know in the comments what you think about this interview. Make sure to click the link to go to Al Jazeera to watch the entire thing. And yeah, it's definitely a visual feast, or I guess you would call it a sensory feast of countering CCP propaganda. Thanks for watching this episode, and like, subscribe, and comment below your thoughts on this particular video. And we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.